Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 8, Episode 8, where we watch Couple to Throuple, Season 1, Episode 1. And you know, the world has chakra points. Joshua Tree is one of them. I'm Chris Lorenz.
That was a good one. We can't even pick a movie, and now we're picking a person? This is Noah Singer.
He looks like Thor, and his hammer's right there. This is Max.
We're high vibrational.
I'm just high.
Those were quotes for the show we watched this week. But last week we watched Choose Love, which is a choose your own adventure movie, which was pretty fun. And you guys voted it top third on Twitter. So
Here we go.
Tell us what you thought about this show on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Noah, what was that show? Or what is that show?
This show.
This show, not that show.
This show.
Yeah. 4 couples new to non-monogamy spend a month at a tropical resort where they freely experiment with bringing a third love into their relationship. Cameras follow the couples 24/7 as they meet, mingle, and date a whole host of singles, all of whom are experienced in polyamory. At the end of their time in paradise, the couples must make the ultimate decision: whether they will commit to a life as a 3, go home as they arrived, or even decide that they were never meant to be together and leave separately. This is Couple to Throuple on Peacock.
Is it only on Peacock or is it on somewhere else as well?
I think it's, based on the boobs at the end of the show, it's got to only be on Peacock.
There was some butt in the show too.
Yeah, I think this is a Peacock only.
It was also 56 minutes, which is like a weird time.
Yeah, it's got to be streaming only.
We would have to cut some time to be on regular TV. I imagine there's a better cut of this show that's 42 minutes, 100%.
There's definitely a cut of this show that could go on TV. That's like not HBO.
I mean, there's a cut of the show that's better because it's only 42 minutes.
Yeah,
I can see
it definitely ran a little long.
Yeah, so the show, essentially what happens is you meet the 4 couples. The 4 couples meet 14 singles. Then they go their separate ways. Then they come back and they do a therapy session of some sorts, which we'll get into.
Some sort of Dr. Pepper situation.
Sort of Dr. Pepper. Then they do a choosing ceremony where the couple chooses a single to become a throuple, and that's the episode.
Not a whole lot happens in this episode. I mean, episode 1 is always about introductions, but in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot of it happens. Sorry, Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say in the big picture, not a lot happened, but I feel like there was a lot to get to know about the couples, and I think they actually did a good job. I think that they actually used their time well to get deep into why are these couples interested in being a throuple?
Yeah, that's fair.
Did they? Did they? I don't know if they went into too much why they wanted to be a throuple.
They really didn't. They were just more like, who are these people? Not
I know who these people.
Why are they on this fucking show?
Kind of got to look at who these people are, but I don't know why some of these people are throuples.
Well, I mean, we can go one by one, right?
We can do that right now.
Yeah. All right. Who do you want to start with, Chris?
Roid Man and White Girl.
You mean the serial killer?
I think that's Lauren and Dylan.
Wilder and Corey.
Wilder, yeah. Wilder is a serial killer. This guy, it just gives off the most creepy.
He's not Roid Man, but yes, Wilder is gross.
Yeah.
They've been together for 9 years.
9.
Also, that's crazy. We've been dating for 9 years. You know what's going to fix this relationship? A third.
But are they getting throupled to fix the relationship? I don't know why they're I don't know. Maybe they're going to take their couple to the next level. They're trying to get to Nirvana.
Maybe. I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about Wilder and Corey?
They pick Denise at the end, so they pick a girl or a woman, I guess.
Yeah,
So they're like
she's
the
Pan and
biggest
Polly.
question. The question I have is like, okay, so you go, do you want a man or a woman to join your relationship? How many people do you want in this relationship? Is a throuple the end, or is that the start?
That's a great question. Like, who's coming here and saying like, "Oh, three's good, four's too much"?
I agree. It's just like when we did that sex room show, and
That's
there
what
was
I
like
was thinking about. Yeah.
there's like
Right.
8 people.
Yeah, that was like a septuple.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm thinking about while I'm watching the show. Is like, okay, is the first one a girl, woman? Because like it's easier. I think it's probably easier to find a woman on this show than it is to find a man. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I just think it'd be easier to like date another woman than it would be to date another man. Because
I don't know.
I'd have no
Maybe-
desire to do that.
Like, I think that it goes both ways. Like, from a sex perspective, definitely nicer, at least in my opinion, to have another woman, like, from that part of it. But I think from a, like, potentially better friend, like, it could be a better movie to have, like, another guy, you know? Especially in most of these, like, decisions, will be, like, two guys, one girl. Like, it's nice to have numbers there.
I feel like in pop culture, when you think of these situations, it's always, or not always, but it heavily leans one girl, two women. For
One guy.
One guy.
heteronormative.
You mean
Yeah,
one
whatever.
guy?
I can't
One girl.
talk. You know what I mean. One girl, two women is crazy.
Well, it's always. I think it comes down to like the normative is to think that two girls making out is hot. So like that's like what in my head is why you'd want two women versus like two guys. Like no one
Yeah,
really wants to see two guys make out.
And like the show heavily leans that way, except for the two Arab guys. They're like
We'll
the
talk about them.
outliers. Yeah, who we got next?
We got Ashmel and Raymond.
Ahmad and Rahman.
Okay. Sorry. I'm always butcher names. I should put a warning before the show. Sorry about your names.
My notes on them are he wants a third who can control both. That's crazy.
So he wants a super top.
Maybe, yeah.
They've been together 3 to 4 years. They said right around COVID, so just gives a range. And then they end up picking Jonathan at the end. So they pick a real, the only man that gets picked. So
Yeah.
they kept going back and forth whether they could pick a man or a woman, but I feel like it was always going to be a man.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised they even entertained the alternative. But
Because they said like
yeah,
one guy was bisexual and the other guy was he'll do whatever his
like
partner
gay
wants.
but flexible. Yeah,
Yeah. Which, I think flexible might work for like a night, but you're inviting somebody into your relationship. Like this is way more than that.
Right. Yeah, it is.
or
It's
you're
a
just
lot.
on the show to get the Instagram followers.
Yeah, that's true. Like, but yeah, like it's definitely not. I mean, I forget all like network theory stuff, but like going from 2 to 3 and the amount of complexity that adds to a relationship, it's not linear, right? It's meaningful.
Yeah, for sure. So
Uh,
they pick a guy.
who's our next
That's
lucky
That's all
couple?
I got. That's all I got for that couple.
Yeah,
We got Sean and Brittany.
Brittany.
Brit
How do you spell that, Chris?
Brittne.
Neat.
Knee. Like we are the knights that
Britain.
say knee, but Brittany.
Yeah.
Neat. Can you
Yeah, whatever works for you.
It could be Brittknee. Like literally. But
Would be more crazy. Would not do that to my own child, but who am I to judge?
Who are you to judge, Max?
What do we have to
They've
say
been
about them?
together for 4 years, and they pick Sanu.
Sanu. I watched this a while ago, so I need to. Okay. I remember who Sanu is. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
they
who
do.
Sanu is. Is Sanu the one that's the polyamory coach?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is wild that she of all people is on the show.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very good pick for the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like you get a lot of free therapy.
A lot of already done this, been there kind of person.
Yeah, it's good to have a guide, and she's going to be the journey woman to take them along the ride.
She does say that she wants to find a good base relationship. So she's definitely considering more than just throuple. Which you got to take into consideration when, if you pick her.
I feel like though, do you think that's a red flag? In the degree where if someone wants to be in a throuple, but then she also the polyamory guy, she's so in that world, that's really deep.
Yeah,
Why is she not
wanna...
the Dr. Pepper of the show?
Oh yeah,
that's a good question.
Mm.
If you want to be monaga, whatever, if you just want to have 3 people and that's it,
yeah.
It's not monogamous because there's 2 of you. So what is it? Duogamous? I don't know. Anyway, if you just wanted to be the 3 of you, she is not the right person. She's definitely probably going to be hooking up with people or trying to get
absolutely.
more people in the throuple. So definitely how that relationship's going to work.
The rules of this show, this game, are too restrictive, I feel.
You think they should entertain more than throuples?
Yeah. Couple to tuple. Keep the size unspecified.
I think you got to get a strong base, though. You can't just go from 3 to 4. You need to be 3 for a while, then you can maybe add a 4th. You can't just go.
So every time so you're saying every time you win a season, then that throuple goes to the semifinals.
Yeah.
And they
the
form a quintuple.
Seasons 1 through 4, the winners of those seasons go for
those are
the 5 and
the
6.
quarterfinals.
Yeah, and then there's a final season.
And then the final season is just 2 quadruples merging.
Oh.
I mean, that would be fucking nuts. I would watch that. We're missing one more couple, I believe.
Yeah, we're missing Dylan and Lauren.
Yeah.
Yep. Roidman and White Girl.
Yeah, I feel like they're the most I mean, not the most stereotypical, but I think they would come into my mind's eye of they look like they came out of Vegas to a certain degree of probably some plastic surgery or maybe just their bodies are in very good shape, in a Vegas way. If that makes sense at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess. I mean, the guy, he was wearing some oversized clothes, so I couldn't tell how fit he was. But the woman, definitely very fit. Lauren.
The guy is jacked. He's jacked.
Dude is on steroids for sure.
Yeah. He also seems like a very nice guy. I actually liked his personality a lot. So I feel like he's a book not to judge by its cover to a certain way.
I mean, nobody on the show struck me as really gross.
Wilder.
From a personality perspective.
Wilder. Bad guy.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I take it all back. He is gross.
He just everything about him comes off as sketch.
Yep.
I wasn't.
I think he has
the fact he's locked down this poor girl for 9 years is insane.
Yeah, I feel like he has like Cheeto dust under his fingernails. Like that's how I feel about Wilder.
He has Cheeto dust coming out of his armpits.
Yes,
I don't understand the hate for this guy. He's fine.
He just gives me gross vibes.
The way he talks, the things he says, like he just seems like he's trying to manipulate people from a very bad place, like purely to manipulate them and have power over them. That's the vibe I get for him. It's like the game being practiced as his life.
He has 3,046 followers on Instagram.
That's way too many. It's 3,045 more than it should be.
Yeah, I don't really, I don't get that vibe. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I wasn't paying that much attention, but I mean, I was.
No,
I don't know.
he's gross. Everybody, I can promise you, he's gonna be problematic later in the season.
Corey.
I haven't looked this up. I
Potter.
just know.
Corey's last name is Potter, which is, probably a
Okay.
troubling last name to grow up with when you're 30.
Corey Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban.
She has 22,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is her
And
boyfriend
you're right.
one of them?
Dylan was definitely the really muscle dude. Yeah, I was thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, when
Okay.
you said that thing with the shirt, I was like, am I misremembering this? I think he had his muscles out the whole time.
I was thinking of Sean.
Oh, Sean? Yeah, I mean, and then I don't think Sean's not in shape, but doesn't seem like he's jacked.
Fun
I wanted
fact
to
about
say-
Sean. Go ahead.
I wanted to say about Sean is Sean seems like the least into this out of everyone. Like
He's got a weird vibe, although he has 134,000 Instagram followers. 134,000.
Thank you, Mr. Internet Corner.
I mean, Brittany has 2 million followers, so
That's
Damn.
crazy.
2.3 million followers.
Damn.
She does
They're
some sort of
doing
personal
fine for
training.
themselves.
Yeah. They
I
also
mean, yeah, I'm sure everybody on here is a fucking personal trainer.
they have a super unique relationship. Like they like talk about it, but then they talk about like you just see them how they interact with each other. Like he's always sitting like relatively far away from her in the show, which is kind of weird. Like there's something odd about their dynamic. Like maybe they're not a real couple and they're on here just for the gram. You know?
I don't know. I don't think you
I'm
could
sure
be on
they're
the
all
show
just
just
here
for the gram. I don't know.
I'm sure
What
half of these
happens,
are
like,
not real relationships.
What happens immediately right after, like right as the three people come together? Like two of the couples are like, three of them are like making out already first night, and they end with somebody getting fingered, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. It's a new Peacock. It's a very new Peacock. Like, yeah, they show the Muscle Man. Like, you just see him under the sheets, and he's just kind of like this like jackrabbit motion under the sheet. It's like, oh, buddy.
I couldn't tell who was doing what, but
No,
somebody was
it's
getting
very
off. That's for sure. I think these relationships are 100% real, Max. Like they all have Instagrams, they all have businesses together. Like, are they really
yes,
in it
that's true.
for like a throuple situation? Like, I don't know. You have to be into somewhat. Like, you got to be on the show. Like, it's got to be some sort
Yeah.
of filtering.
Also, just crazy that all these people are like cool, being super open about it. Like, good for them, but
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. It's not commonly accepted quite yet. I feel.
I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like it's hard to
definitely.
hide. If
Yeah.
you,
It's
if
definitely not.
Sure.
It's definitely not in the acceptable. Like people talk about LGBTQ. There's no P.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
You know, like they haven't gotten their letter yet. You know, I feel like that is kind of the like I know there's plus, but like I feel like that would be like the formal, like, you've made it, you know?
Is the
Yeah.
T not for throuple though?
I mean,
I know it's not.
maybe it's
It
it's
can
a
stand for anything you
multi-purpose.
want.
Yeah, multi-purpose, right? Yeah, I think what's even more so, it's like not just the couples, but then the singles who are throuplers, right? Like,
Yeah, the people
like,
that want to
yeah,
be.
I like,
Why
I
are
think
these
that's
guys on
hard.
the show?
Yeah, like I feel like that's so much harder to like identify or be like, yeah, I want to be the thrupled. Like, I don't know. I feel like that always puts you in a weird spot.
It's like the other people have been together 9 years, but you'll be together what? 9 x-9. You know you're losing out on a lot.
Yep.
I mean, it's not, it's just like I feel like you're just always the other. You know, it's always like you're not really three.
So,
You know,
so you're saying that a good throuple has to be formed like Genesis all at the same time?
Me?
somewhere near each other. I think it would make an
Yeah.
even
So,
field. Yeah. So yes, I mean largely.
certainly, like 9 years ain't no goddamn way.
Yeah.
You know, you could like elevate your position by like being pregnant or like having a baby or something. Like you could definitely get yourself elevated over 9 years if you know you had a kid. Like that's
Yep.
like that definitely changes
Yeah.
the dynamics for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of crossover. It starts to get into like sister wife, brother husband show, you know, and all those dynamics. Like once you're really in
But those are like the
throuple.
power dynamics are all like male or female. Like you can bring in anyone you want. You don't have to bring in. You can bring in a trans guy. Like you can bring anything you want. Like not just like the guy has all the power in like
Hmm.
sister wives, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Speaking of weird situations, they have like I thought it was really interesting who was in the middle. So there was all like because there's two people, it's easy, left, right. But once you have three people, it's like who's in the middle, and like how awkward is it to be in the middle with three people? Personally,
the whole bed thing. I don't like. Like, it's hard enough sleeping with like another person in the same bed to a certain degree. Like,
do
you
you
know,
do you just get like a shack size bed and then have like a circular bed so everyone has their own end? Or like square bed, but each person has their own end. But everyone gets feet in their face.
I don't. I feel like you probably have two beds. There's like the bed where two people sleep in. Then there's like, and then you just kind of rotate. Is my guess.
You gotta do three. You gotta have them cuddles. What are you doing?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, the only way to do that is a custom made bed. Like
What's the
three
custom
people with
part
king
here?
size bed. No, because like a king size bed, like you could definitely make work. But I don't know, three people. It's just not. I don't think it'd be that comfortable.
We're not talking about like that comfortable. We're just talking about you're in love with two people. You want to sleep with them.
I mean, literally sleep or sleep.
I don't know. I mean, it depends
Speaking
on
of sleep,
I guess.
we gotta wrap this up, or I'm gonna fall asleep.
Fall asleep.
Well,
We're on a
no,
good
we haven't
team.
even
We're on a
talked
good
about their.
team.
We haven't even talked about their fun activity together.
The rest of the show is the interesting part about the show is talking about like all these intricacies. This show itself was mostly
Sucks.
boring. It was like
It was,
they're
it was a
talking.
very
They
boring
do
episode.
like they do like a dating game kind of thing, and you're like, I do not give a fuck. Like I don't care
Yeah.
if they pick the same or if they pick different. Like it didn't matter. Like I would rather have them like talk about like what are the rules with your like throuple? Like, are you gonna make out? Are you like like are there steps? Does it matter? Like who's gonna make out first? Like that's That's the interesting thing. Is like,
For
what do you
sure.
guys think? And they didn't do any of that. And then they just like started making out and fingering each other the first night. And I'm like, that is not the way this thing should be starting. But I don't know. Well,
Maybe
I'm
it's
not the one
exactly
running
how
the
it should be
show.
starting.
I mean, sure, you could start that way, but at least like if you're gonna have like, let's meet the couples, let's figure out their rules are. What are their like? What have they done? What do they want to do? Like, we don't know any of that. Like, we know a couple of
Oh.
people have done like threesome. Like, two of the couples had done threesomes before, but that was it. So I don't know. I agree with Max that it was kind of boring. The show itself is boring, but like I think
Yeah.
it's interesting to talk about being a throuple and what that means, and continuing to watch the show would still
Right.
bring up like more conversations about what does it mean to be a throuple. Can't like how hard is
Yeah.
it? How easy is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
I
be a
agree.
much more interesting show. I feel like the Sex Room show did a much better job talking about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good comparison. Like,
If anything, it's surprising this is less explored in all the shows we've seen.
yeah, I mean, but it was also cut very differently. Like the Sex Room show, you're getting a 20-minute end to end piece, like full story,
Yep.
right? Where this, we're getting 1/10 of a full story, 1/12, right? And so I think there's more resolution we got in the Sex Room show, which I think is why it appealed probably to how we watch content. But if we did a full season of both, I can imagine this winning out because we'll get deeper storylines.
Possible. I don't know. I still think the show has potential. The first episode was not good, but I think it's got a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk briefly about the host, which is Scott Evans. He's on Access Hollywood, which I would call Access Hollywood his apex, and not this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what Access Hollywood's up to these days, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
either.
no idea. What's he up
Then
to?
we've got our therapist. We got Shamra Howard. I didn't look her up, but she also spelled her name weird. Sham Shamyra.
Why? Yep.
Shamira. I don't know.
Shamira? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Would this show be better as a Quibi or a TikTok? Max, what do you got for me?
This show would be better off dead.
Okay.
So, yes,
Noah,
shorter would be fine.
No, would the show be better as a Quibi or TikTok?
I don't think so. I think like so much as we're talking on, a lot of the value is like the voyeur aspect, like getting to understand what this type of novelty is. And so I don't think the short form content would do that well unless you're watching a lot of it. Like I imagine there's a whole like polyamory TikTok, hole that you can go down and get a ton, but
Throuple talk.
yeah, right, like Throuple talk. Like I'm sure it exists, but I think this is a better format for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I would just argue that this like streaming network length, where it could be at, like undetermined number of like how long, is not good for this show. Whoever's editing the show needs to like, or whoever produced the show didn't do a super good job. Like the
Agreed.
dating game concept was, you could just cut that. Like this is just not useful. It's not fun. It's not good. And like, I liked when they were talking to the couples. That was the best part of the show. Was when the couples were talking to the singles. But then everything after that, I could just skip. Didn't need any of it. Max, what speed did you watch this show at?
I don't remember, but I'm going to say 1 to 1.5.
Okay. Oh, I think Noah's supposed to guess, or we're all supposed to guess. I was gonna guess regular 1x.
Uno.
So there we have drinking rules. Uh, Noah, you have any drink? You have a drinking rule for us?
Every time you see a nipple, take a drink.
What happens when you see two? I'm gonna amend that. Anytime you see,
I think just one. I think just one. You take one drink.
I think it's a
how many
drink
nipples-
per nipple, and it's a drink per ass cheek. You see ass cheek, bare ass cheek, you take a drink. Because there's some brief ass cheeks in this episode as well.
Oh yeah. There's it's a skin heavy show.
Max, do you have a drinking rule for us?
Yeah, make sure you have a shot of whiskey nearby. Every time somebody provides oral pleasure, you just have to like sort of lap at your drink a little bit, like with your tongue back and forth.
Oh, I thought you have to imitate what's done. Fingers, tongue.
Oh, I've been imitating the whole time I've been talking. You just can't see it.
All right. Anytime there's like some sort of drama with like the two, any like arguments between the couples or thruples, like what people want, what people don't want, like how is this thruple situation gonna work out? Kind of sitch. You should take a drink. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of that. All right.
Every time.
You got another one?
Yeah, because I feel like this is gonna come up more. Every time a couple in the thruple are questioning the third person in the thruple, take a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
One of my hypotheses is one of the thruplers are gonna steal someone from the couple, and they're gonna like collude to get one of the OGs out.
Ooh, I mean, that's definitely like the one girl just found out she was bisexual. You know, maybe she just found out she was a lesbian. You know, you never know.
I mean, yeah, like I think the one that's with Wilder, I forgot her name. She's gonna get thrupled and be like out of the spell. She's like, wait, what happened? What happened to the last 9 years? Oh my god, who? What? Then she'll
she's the same person. Corey. She's also the person that said she just found out she was bisexual.
Right, like she's gonna like wake up out of the spell and vomit for continuously for many hours, days, and then be on her way.
I don't get the hate here, guys.
Dude,
don't get it.
He's bad news bears.
All right. So we do ratings. So we have a stack ranking system between top, middle, bottom, third compared to other reality shows. And some people stack rank in their stack ranks. Noah, why don't you give it to me?
Yeah. You know, I think we did a good job discussing the show. This is very much one of the shows, as we talked about, where there's more to talk about than I think to like about the topic in some of the decisions, rather than like a lot of the reality TV structure we often see. You know, it's like introductions, the game, some of like the inter-household drama. It's like it's less about that, right? So I think that's a positive thing. I also am just a fan in general of content that allows you to explore something that you probably would not get visibility into on your own. That said, I don't think I'll watch more. Like, I'm just not that curious to learn more. I think if I had a lot more free time, like maybe I would, but there's just a lot more content I prefer to watch. So for those reasons, it's middle, solid middle. I think there's like good things, weak things, middle.
I zoned out there for a minute. Max, what do you got for me?
I'm going to go bottom third, top of the bottom. It was an aggressively average but boring show. So bottom third, but not that awful.
I'm going to go. I mean, we talked about how the show was boring, but had interesting parts, and it was interesting to talk about. And I'm very interested in the future of what's going on with these couples. May, but like the show, episode one, it's got to be middle third, just because I think it was kind of boring, and it could just be. But like I'm interested, so it could be top. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to tune into like episode 4 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like an episode one problem, but this is like it's episode one could be fine. It could be good, but it's not produced well. It's not edited well. Like, so why am I going to assume it's going to be produced and edited better in the next subsequent episodes? So I don't know. So the fact that I'm going to watch more, I'll put it in the top third. Why not? Let's do it. Throw it up there. And we'll have a top, middle, bottom third. We're going to have the audience this tie break. Actually, Brian, our usual host, gave me his rating, and his rating is a top third show. The the Throuple fuck pick session was too good. Can't wait for everyone to start banging.
Brian, so something that maybe should be our Twitter poll for the week. Is Brian, do you think, a throupler? Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow.
Does he want to be on the Throuple show? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, and that would be great, because then Brian could, go on this journey and we can live vicariously through him.
I mean, that's what we're already doing.
Anything's possible.
Show.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Tweet at us if you think Brian should go on the show. Anyway, tell us what you thought about this show at Who Put This On. Max, you got any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I've been watching Love is Blind season 6. Shit's crazy. Enjoyable. Yeah, would recommend.
Noah, you have any shout outs?
I do have a shout out. I'm still going through the curse. I'm still in this love-hate relationship with it. I hope it pays out. I'm very skeptical it will. But I do want to shout out. So this isn't a new podcast, but I'm getting more into it recently. Lex Friedman. Do you guys listen to him?
I know who he is, but no, I don't listen to him.
So he's a podcaster. I think by training, he's like a computer scientist focused on AI, like PhD level. He teaches at MIT, I believe. But he does these super long form podcasts. He gets very good guests on. But I'm listening to basically what's like a book. It's like a 6-hour episode, very long. About this guy who was a fraudster. He did a bunch of mortgage fraud, identity theft, embezzle, everything. And it's just he's like a bona fide con man. And it's just very entertaining listening to him, like you'd expect from most con men, right? They're charismatic, they can tell a good story. So yeah, I'm going through that 6-hour podcast / book. Lex Friedman, the episode's Matthew Cox.
All right. I watched Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is a show on Netflix. It was pretty good. They're 20, 30-minute episodes. It starts off really strong because it starts off with this Scott Pilgrim versus the world story and then kind of diverts by the end of it. Diverges. Yeah. I
was
liked it
very surprised by the divergence.
Yeah. I liked it a lot more when it didn't diverge. I thought it did an amazing job of doing the first part of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Not that the movie was bad, but the animation just really I think fits the style more. But
yeah,
I enjoyed it overall, so I'll give that a shout out. All right, well that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter or X at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. See you guys next time.